Continuation entry once the current pause. Confirms expansion beyond recent highs. Sentiment.
Um, okay, how's that? Yeah, that should work. Yeah, I got a new mic. Sorry about that. I appreciate you bringing that up because I would have not even thought about changing that. I just kind of loaded it. Is it good now? It looks like it should be because it's going off. Yeah. Is anybody on YouTube to let me know if you can hear it? Um, should be good now. Let me see if we can hear the desktop.
1-hour HTF support
Yeah,
level of
it should work now.
27,367.25 and macro levels. Alignment between the 1 minute and
But guys, this is our training courses. Anybody in the mentorship program as well as VIP will have free access to all training courses. We have like, I don't know, 52 or so that we've already got created. We're just working through getting them in here. This is a little glimpse of kind of what they look like when you come in. They're actually like a book. So let me expand it out so you can see. Right, fully engaging. It's actually audible.
Charting foundations.
So you guys can hear. Treats like a book. Full breakdown. If you're not in that group, they're still relatively cheap comparative to what y'all pay. So it's like $30, right, for these. So for those of you guys paying thousands, right, you don't need to. So, but let's interpret. Let's see what he's been doing, guys. I was kind of just showing you that a little bit off, but I want to stay on task, which is everything's about Neo right now. So let's look what he's been calling. So his last couple calls, let's go up. Pretty confidence on the bull pressure. Long entry above 437. We got that right there. That would be your close, right? So that played out well. What was his targeting? Next structural zone. That's fine. Ideally, he wanted to pull back, but we got the continuation, so that works. He still doesn't like trades for shorts, which is great. He shouldn't. Long entry on this one was expansion past 437, which we know also still played out. And let's see, 437. This entry signals a return to bullish expansion towards 465, which we didn't quite get there, but we're really close. Provided the 1 minute Lisma remains support as a base. I love that he's identifying that, right? Is that we're going to get up to there provided that our Lisma holds as a base of support. So if we break that, right, now he's kind of giving that guidance. So he's more, right now he's mostly long short guidance, right, with target liquidity. But he eventually we're gonna add more risk management things, right? Like, you know, stop out, all that, but not yet. We gotta kind of one thing at a time. So the last one he just did would be long entry. If we hold, if we break and hold above the recent high of that 438, right there. So we broke that one. Also still was good. Look at that jump, man. Guys, look, how cool is this? Even if you don't like these longs up here that he's been freaking spot on with, did he just hit 465? He did. Look at that. He blew through it. It's target liquidity. That's crazy. But either way, he's telling you, you better not be short. So even if you didn't take the long, you damn sure shouldn't be short. That's wild, guys. He is absolutely crushing this. I'll be honest, man, with how fast we had to put things together in the final phases of letting him do long and entry options and short entry options, we didn't have much time on Friday by the time we got him to accept the logic. And so that's why I was like, I'm going to get on and really watch him today. And, man, he has absolutely nailed everything. Guys, in the mentor group, I know a few of you guys are still here. Have you guys taken any of these? Lupe and check. Oh, Andrew looks like he jumped off. No. Isn't it fascinating, though, Chuck? That's crazy. Let me get out of this. This is insane. How well he just called that. He literally said for that entry, target liquidity of 465, and he's been telling you don't take a short. It's so, even if you didn't take the long, well, you know, not to be short yet. Oh, that's awesome, man. This is exciting, guys. I love technology. I think, you know, technology is the future. AI is the future, right? Anybody who's not embracing it is going to get left behind, so. But look at this push. He's, let me see what he says on the, he's about to interpret it. 1 second. See how he's glowing like that, analyzing. I actually want to...
I identify a strong bullish expansion phase as price maintains. Clear structural integrity above the macro 5 minutes Lisma and high time frame support levels, alignment across the 15. Second, 1 minute and 5 minute timeframes confirms dominant upside pressure as price creates higher highs. This setup is high probability due to the consistent closes above the 1 minute Lisma and the most recent push beyond the prior consolidation zone.
Look at
Sentiment,
his concerns
bullish
though.
pressure, confidence, 8 out of 10. Reason, price is holding firmly above the 1 minute anchored VWAP at 27,413.75 and the 1 minute Lisma at 27439.0. The bullish trend is further validated by the strong slope of the 5 minutes Lisma at 27,410.0 and price remaining well above the 5 minutes EMA 200 at 27,310.75. Concerns, price is currently extended away from the nearest 1-hour HTF support level of 27,367.25. Rapid upside movement into an area without immediate macro resistance requires caution regarding potential pullbacks to retest the 15 seconds Lisma at 27448.0. Long entry option. I find a high quality entry upon a confirmed break and expansion above the recent push high of 27,465.25, targeting the next liquidity zone. Alternatively, a pullback that respects the 1 minute Lisma and confirms a bounce provides a structural entry for continuation. Short entry option. None. Summary. The current
None.
trend shows strong upward movement with
It's like
price
none.
consistently staying above all major support levels. I recommend looking for opportunities to join the move if price continues to climb or bounces
Yeah.
off an established level. Avoid selling against this momentum until a clear change in structure occurs.
So, guys, remember, he's got a lot to read here. So, if you're looking for certain things, right? If I see bullish pressure, pretty good confidence, as he's reading, you can listen to it, but you want to really quickly look at what his rules are for the entry, right? So, if you see, he made this call at 21, which is right there. And his advice was if we get a sustained push, right, and close above 465, that would be the setup, right? And so we got that sustained push and close, and it pushed. So he was spot on. And he's still telling your ass, you better not be short. So if you're in this short right now getting wrecked, you might want to listen to Neo. So fascinating, guys. I'm going to stay on a bit tonight just because I want to watch and watch and watch. Once I'm done tonight, probably on 10, 11 o'clock, I'm going to take some things that I've flagged, little minor things that I want to modify, but I haven't seen anything major yet. Because it's important to me to get these things in line and make sure he's on point, because I want to see how well he handles it during market open and the more critical zones, right? So if you guys want to hang out. I'm gonna stop recording the mentorship part of it, guys. 1 second. Let me move this over there, because I don't think we need to record this one anymore. We'll get that up. We got enough in that one. But I'll keep this chat up on guys until you guys end up leaving, right? But TikTok, I'll stay up either way. But yeah, if you're having trouble seeing it, guys, there's other ways as well to do it. To come watch it. So I'm on the YouTube now, so I appreciate that advice on that. But you can also come into the website as well and watch it on your own. So I'm curious to see, like, you see what I mean though. Now I'm like, damn, with this push, like, as a top and bottom trader, right? For me, when I see something like this fully extended, I'm looking for a top, right? Where am I coming down? Right, but we're also getting into, guys, you got to realize, if you look at the overall chart, right, and you pull it back, right, like this, look at, we're just creating all-time highs. So there's no TA for him. The line that you see here, guys, this was something we identified on our mentor group the other day. Pretty good probability we're going to get up there. So around 28.3, 28.4. But yeah, we're creating all-time highs right now, so it's going to be difficult.
The current market structure shows strong bullish momentum as price consistently holds above all macro and execution timeframe indicators. The recent push has established a sequence of higher highs, with the 5 minutes macro bias and 1 minute execution timeframe in full alignment. High probability for continuation remains as long as price maintains its position relative to the 1-minute structural supports. Sentiment. Bullish pressure. Confidence. 8 out of 10. Reason. Price is trading firmly above the 1-minute EMA 200 at 27,408.25 and the 1-minute anchored VWAP at 27,420.75, confirming strong structural support. The 1-minute LISMA at 27,453.75 is sloping upward, indicating that the current move has significant velocity and trend commitment. High Kin-Ah-Shi candles remain green during the recent expansion, showing no immediate signs of reversal or exhaustion. Conk. Earns. Price is currently extended beyond the 15 seconds LISMA at 27,476.25, which may trigger a minor mean reversion pullback before further upside. There are no immediate high timeframe resistance levels provided above the current price of 27,492, requiring reliance on expansion targets, a failure to hold the most recent push. S origin could signal a temporary shift in momentum. Long entry option. Consider an entry on a confirmed break and expansion above the recent high of 27,499.5, targeting a 20-point move into extension. Alternatively, look for a pullback toward the 15 seconds LISMA at 27,476.25, entering only if price confirms a bounce and holds the level as support. Short entry option. A short opportunity only develops if price confirms a structural breakdown in a close below the 1-minute LISMA at 27,453.75, targeting the 1-minute anchored VWAP. Summary. The market is in a clear uptrend with buyers maintaining control above all key technical levels. Momentum is strong, and the alignment across multiple timeframes supports a continued move higher. Look for high probability entries on confirmed breakouts or successful tests of support levels.
Yeah, so like he said, guys, remember, we're in the all-time high, right? So he, just like nobody, right? None of us know how high this is going to go. We have no real resistance, right? So if you're looking at your entry, right, you would want that expansion above the 499, right? And so you can see he's gauging that there. We didn't get any expansion, so you wouldn't have taken another long entry in that. This is something I added. I'm going to get that removed and remind him he doesn't have to say that, looking for the 20-point move, right? It's some logic I added in there because he was doing some calls that were really tight. And I'm like, I need at least 20. And so what he's looking for also on the alternative would be to get the pullback towards that, which would be 476. So we did get that pullback, entering only if the price confirms a bounce at that level. So then I would look for that doji hammer or something, close above, and then you can take it, right? But he is identifying some short opportunities, which is cool. But he's telling you we need a structural breakdown and a close below the 1-minute LISMA at least. Then you would target the 1-minute anchored VWAP, right? Which would be when you look in there, right? You just want to see when it referenced the VWAP right there. So 420. So let's see how that plays out. If we get the actual bounce here, or we're going to get that structure break and then take that short. All right, and he has not thrown one. So all of the short reads that he did pretty much since open back here, none of them met. All of the longs have met, right? And then throughout this, most of them he's been saying none, right, on shorts, which is really cool. So I want to see when he shifts and actually says none on long, right? That's what I'm kind of curious about. Let's see. So we're getting that LISMA pull, right? So he was talking about on the short, maybe 453. Now, mind you, when you're doing these LISMAs, guys, he's calling out the price at the time he sees it, right? So LISMA right now is at 464, right? So when you look at the price as he sees it, when he did the call here, it was back here, right? Is when it was at that 453. So, but the LISMA itself is still what you would look for. So we got that breach, but we didn't get the close below, right? So we know that for the long, right, that's a reclaim of that 476 if lost, right? Which
the market shows a prevailing bullish structure across high and macro timeframes, though. The current move is a defined pullback from a recent peak. Price is presently interacting with the 1-minute LISMA while Remaining above the 1 minute anchored VWAP and 1 minute EMA 200, high probability opportunities will emerge. Either upon a successful defense of this macro support zone or a confirmed reclaim of the recent downward expansion, sentiment, bull. Ish pressure, confidence, 7 out of 10. Reason, high time frame trend lines and 5 minutes macro. Indicators maintain a bullish posture, establishing a strong upward bias. Price remains above significant structural support, including the 1 minute anchored. VWAP at 27,425.50 and the 1 minute EMA 200 at 27,411.75. The recent pullback is currently testing the 1 minute LISMA at 27465. 0 for a potential reversal of the intraday trend. Concerns, the 1 minute LISMA trend is currently bearish, and the recent price progression shows a sequence of lower highs. Immediate downward momentum is signaled by the red Heiken-Ash eye candles and a failure to sustain levels above the 15 seconds LISMA of 27,490.25, a breach of the 1 minute EMA 200 would signal a deeper structural failure toward high timeframe support. Long entry option, enter on a confirmed reclaim and hold above the 1 minute LISMA at 27465.0, targeting the recent high near 27500.0. A secondary option exists for a bounce at the anchored BW. A P of 27,425.50, provided a reversal is confirmed by price progression, short entry option. Enter on a confirmed break and expansion below the 1 minute EMA 200 at 27411. 75, targeting the 1 hour high time frame support at 27,367.25. This move is counter trend to the macro structure and requires a clear close below the support cluster to validate. Summary, the broader market trend remains upward, but the price is currently undergoing a short-term pullback toward key support levels. Traders should watch for a confirmed bounce near the anchored VWAP or a reclaim of the recent pivot high to signal bullish continuation. If the support at the EMA 200 fails to hold, a deeper move toward higher timeframe levels is expected.
Guys, so I want to see how this plays out, right? So his interpretation, if you remember from the one prior, is for the long entry, you wanted the pullback, right? And then a sustained hold of that 476. See how we pulled back below it, and now we're closed above it. So I'm curious to see if it propels. That would be sick, because that's what he said, is you wanted to pull back, close above, right? For this one, he said, enter a confirmed reclaim and hold above the 1 minute LISMA of the 465. So it's still pretty similar. Targeting the recent high. Secondary option would be to wait till 425. So basically saying that's a safer option would be. It's interesting. He said to wait for that far down. Man, that's like down here. So yeah, so the 65, we got that push back up. Yeah, so the 65 already kind of played out, but didn't quite go as far. But keep in mind, guys, be careful, because one, this is a critical low, the 81. If we can't break that, right, it's going to shift and flip, right? But it's also a critical area because we just retested the prior day high, right, after creating an all-time high. So we're losing a little bit of weakness here, right, is what we're showing. You want the 1 minute to get a push here and close above. Then we'll go for a higher high. Anything short, and it's going to get a pullback. So, but let's, did you guys notice too, his short entry now went lower? He's like, I'm not quite as convinced on entering this short here. So his prior one said, you know, if we close below this LISMA, right, take that short. But then he pivoted now and saying, I'd only do a short if you close below the 200, because he's identifying that would give you a better short entry as it breaks the current uptrend structure, right, which is pretty sound advice, actually. So let's see how this plays out. It's interesting. Oh, that's the one. Okay, I was like, that doesn't make sense because those are lining up. But Yeah, we broke into Lisma. For us to doji here, close, and pull back down to there
The
wouldn't
market
surprise me.
exhibits a dominant bullish structure on higher time frames, yet current price
said
action
none.
reveals short-term
None,
indecision
none.
and a pullback within the 1 minute and 15-second time frames, while the overall bias remains
Love it.
upward. A lack of clear continuation and conflicting signals on lower time frames prevent a high probability entry at this moment. Price is currently inside a range, consolidating after a prior push. Sentiment: bullish pressure. Confidence: 4 out of 10. Reason: price holds above the 1-hour HTF support at 27,367.25, the 5 minutes macro Lisma at 27,414.50, and the 5 minutes EMA 200 at 27,315.50, indicating sustained bullish structural bias. The 1 minute anchored VWAP at 27,428.75 also supports bullish control on its time frame. Concerns: the 1 minute high Kinashi candle is a red doji, signaling indecision, and the 1 minute Lisma trend is identified as bearish with current price at 27,471.75 trading below its value of 27,472.75. Additionally, price is trading below the 15 seconds Lisma at 27491.0 and the recent price action remains inside a range without a confirmed breakout. Long entry option: none. Short entry option: none. Summary: higher time frames maintain a bullish structural bias, but price action on lower time frames indicates a current pullback and indecision. There is no clear continuation signal or high probability entry setup at this time, suggesting caution until a confirmed structural shift or expansion occurs.
Yeah. One thing I love, guys, though, notice, remember we were talking about we need a break below the 200 on that one. The one that was up here, he wanted a close below the 453. Right. Now, in fairness, it was based off Lisma. So technically we got the close below Lisma there, and we actually got a nice little scalp off it. But notice we did not get to that 453. Right. So if you still use that base price for the safer entry, we didn't quite get there yet. Right. But now he's saying it's indecisive. None. The reason why I chuckled a little bit when I saw that is because he's not wrong. Because think about it, guys. Like I said, we got a little push, kind of creating a little channel, which expects a possible pop. We're at the prior day high, which is holding as support. We had a little pullback and a reclaim that's more bullish than bearish. The 1 minute we've now broken through Lisma and we're starting to collapse down, but it's starting to look like it might be a little parallel channel to be more bullish than bearish. But as long as we stay below here, we are bearish. All right, so there's Lisma being all the way back here, the POC, gap fills, all that stuff, right? Like, there's a lot of things that show that we can pull, right? And so, what is Leanna? I don't know what that means. And so it's very, it's a tricky spot. So I actually would be surprised if he said, with confirmation of an entry. Oh, I'm like, Leanna, I don't know, Lisma. So it's the least square moving average. It's kind of a different way to measure moving averages, right? And so I really like it. It's actually a really great kind of utilized way to read the markets. So we have a kind of a custom setting that we use within it, right? That if you were to add it onto your charts alone, right, it's going to be a little bit different. So, but we do have indicators in our community. If you go to the trading algos, we have some stuff in there that has Lisma on there. So the one I use in the middle there is mostly this one. And so you can see, it has all the different variations of what things are and how to trade it and whatnot. I don't know if it references Lisma in here, actually. I think it does in here somewhere. Yeah, it's least square moving average. So we have a trading glossary that is here. And I don't know if that one's in there. So let me look into adding that quickly, because I reference Lisma quite a bit. Let me see, because I always like to have a little glossary for y'all to understand what that means.
The current market structure displays a strong bullish expansion that is now entering a period of consolidation between the 1-minute Lisma at 27,477.50 and the most recent pullback low. Macro strength is preserved as price remains well above the 5 minutes EMA. 200 at 27,317.25 and the 1-minute anchored VWAP at 27,431.25. A high probability opportunity will emerge once price resolves its current compression and commits to a direction beyond the established local extremes. Sentiment, bullish pressure. Confidence, 7 out of 10. Reason, price is trading with a positive bias above the 1-minute EMA 200 at 27,417.25 and the 5 minutes Lisma at 27,416.50, signaling that higher timeframe buyers are in control. The 15 seconds EMA at 27,452.0 is sloping upward, suggesting that the micro trend is attempting to realign with the macro bullish structure. Recent price action shows a successful defense of the lower support levels during the most recent pullback. Concerns, the current move is finding immediate resistance at the 1-minute Lisma, which is currently acting as a ceiling to further expansion. Price has failed to create a new high after the most recent push, creating a risk of a deeper mean reversion if support fails to hold. There is a lack of defined high timeframe resistance levels above the current price, which may lead to erratic behavior as the market seeks new liquidity. Long entry option. Enter on a confirmed close and expansion above the recent high of 27,479.25, targeting the psychological level of 27,500.0 or higher structural liquidity.
Psychological.
Short. Entry option. Enter if price fails to reclaim the 1-minute Lisma and breaks below the recent support at 27457.0. targeting a move toward the 1-minute anchored VWAP. Summary. The market is currently consolidating within a broader uptrend and is looking for a catalyst to continue its move higher. You should wait for price to either clear the overhead resistance or bounce off a key support level before engaging. Maintaining patience is essential until a clear break of the current narrow range is confirmed.
I went ahead and added that so you can see on there, on the glossary when you go in there. So yeah, just as Lisma stands for least square moving average. It's a moving average that uses linear regression to show the best fit direction of price over a set period, making it useful when reading trend, direction, angle, and momentum. So it's a really good way to look at the market if you have the right setting in there. So let's see how that plays, guys. He 79 targeting the 500. So we want to clear Lisma here, so a close above here, right, would be what he's saying to target that. Notice his short, he's saying, I'm cool with you taking a short, but we got to close below that kind of recent low area right there. We need to pull with a close below there. And so, which we're not getting yet. So, but this is a critical area, right? Because we know that we had talked about the fact that we were likely channeling. We did that. We retested it. That gives the expansion, right? And so look at the push. Now, if this expansion fails to breach this high, then you're going to get absorption back the other way. So, but guys, if you're interested in learning how to trade, if you're new or intermediate, you can check us out nextstepalgo.com. So I do a lot of free live trading. So pretty cool, Aaron. Hey.
Yeah, man.
He's been crushing it.
I came back, bro. I came back and I'm watching and grabbed an eval. So
nice.
Trades while I watch what you're doing here.
Yeah, he's been crushing it, man. It's crazy. If this thing explodes north again, man, that's gonna be crazy because to me, where he called this to go long is, not really go long, right? But what you need to qualify for that is, it's so risky. All right, because we're up in La La Land. I mean, nobody knows where this is going to go. Who knows, right? But usually Lisma, when it's at this angle, when it breaks, it doesn't usually break back up, which is crazy to me.
Might grind it for a little while.
Yeah, I could do that little grind, yeah. The fact we broke down like this, I mean, we didn't get that close like but we didn't get that gap fill is pretty interesting to me. You see that pull? If this fails this level, guys, it'll be a pretty decent sweep, so be careful. Keep in mind, Neo does not really know what's above much other than what
The
just
market
happened.
is exhibiting strong bullish momentum with price consistently trading above all major macro and high time frame structural levels. The 1-minute structure is currently in an expansion phase, supported by a steeply rising slope that indicates aggressive buying pressure. This setup is high probability because the 5 minutes and 1-minute trends are fully aligned for continuation. Sentiment. Bullish pressure. Confidence. 8 out of 10. Reason. Price is holding firmly above the 1-minute Lisma at 27,483.50 and
What's
the
up,
1-minute
man?
anchored VWAP at 27,433.75. The 1-minute Lisma slope is steeply positive, signaling strong intent from buyers to maintain the current push. All structural levels from the 5 minutes and 1 hour timeframes are positioned well below current price, acting as solid support zones. Concerns. The 15 seconds Lisma slope indicates a slight loss of momentum on the micro timeframe, which could lead to a minor pullback before further expansion. Price is significantly extended from the 1-minute EMA 200 at 27,420.25, increasing the risk of a mean reversion. Move. No clear overhead resistance exists in the provided data, requiring disciplined target management. Long entry option. A high probability long entry is available on a confirmed breakout and close above the recent high of 27,487.75. Alternatively, look for a pullback toward the 1-minute Lisma that yields a confirmed bounce and reclaim of the level to provide a more favorable risk to reward entry. Short entry option. None. Summary. The market is in a clear uptrend with all timeframes showing strong bullish alignment. I expect the current push to continue as long as price maintains its position above established macro support levels. You should focus on entries that capitalize on breakouts or pullbacks into the primary trend.
Oh man, I tell you, I don't know why. I feel like I'll never forget that old Hustle Simmons, man. You crack me up. Okay, hope you guys doing out well out there, man. We'll have to catch up sometime. I'm just watching. We created an AI. Ventured off, did my own company with this. Got me, Paul, and Alex co-founding nextstepalgo.com, and so we created an AI that reads the markets. So, and we just introduced allowing him to make directional signal type calls, right? Like we're going here or we're going there. And so that's kind of what we're testing now. See what I was saying? You got to be a little careful as we push up through here, guys, because just like a normal trader, right? He can't see anything above other than what just happened there. So, because of the all-time high. So, but he's not wrong in a sense, right? So you're looking at your longs. You want to close above that 487, which is kind of this area that he's targeting there. We want that close for that expansion, right? Alternatively, when he says that, I tend to prefer that, right? You want to pull back to the 1 minute to get a bounce, right? Lisma on that. I want to see pull back to the 1 minute Lisma. When did he call that? Because I gotta watch this as I'm going through it, right? So he called that right there. Okay, so we were above the 1 minute Lisma. I'm going to flag that though, because when he looks for an alternative pullback, I want, although it's not bad, I want it to be a little further than that. So whenever he says something that's a little bit off of what I want him to be looking at, I can kind of copy and send them a message, and he'll send me back an interpretation, and then I'll let him know if he's right. But I mean, shoot, he still said short none, and look at us just jumping, man. Either way, it's still playing out. So, pretty cool. I just love that we keep jumping north when we shouldn't be jumping north, and he's out here going short, none. And then he finally said, you can take a short if we get below 257 or 457, and we haven't even got below that. So, pretty crazy. And look at this thing just jumping, man. That's so crazy. So even his long call over here, when it got that confirmation above the 65, right? with the target. I think what do you say? A target of 500? Yeah, right here. Targeting the psychological level of 500. He almost got. He
The
almost hit
market
it
shows
again.
a strong bullish expansion phase as the current price holds significantly above all established high time frame and macro structural levels. Time frame alignment is consistent across the 5 minutes, 1 minute, and 15 seconds intervals. With the steep slope of the 1 minute Lisma at 27,489.25 signaling aggressive upward intent, this setup represents a high probability continuation environment as the recent push has successfully cleared previous local resistance. Sentiment. Bullish pressure. Confidence. 8 out of 10. Reason. Price action is maintaining a series of higher highs and higher lows, with the current move positioned firmly above the 1 minute Lisma and the 15 seconds LS. MA of 27,478.0, the 1 hour high time frame trend is supported by a strong positive slope, and price remains well above the 5 minutes macro support level of 27,265.25. Momentum. As confirmed by green high Kin-Ashi progression and a clear break above the most recent structural high, conk. Earns. The current price is extended from the 1 minute EMA 200 at 27,423.25, which may attract a mean reversion pullback if expansion stalls. A doji in the recent price history suggests a moment of equilibrium that could lead to increased volatility at these elevated levels, the lack of provided 1 hour resistance levels above. The current price requires a disciplined focus on trailing stops and microstructure reclaims. Long entry option. Enter. On a confirmed breakout and expansion beyond the recent high of 27,494.75, or a pullback that holds support at the 1 minute Lisma of 27,489.25. The initial target is 27,515.0, representing a 20-point expansion into new liquidity, with invalidation occurring if price achieves a confirmed close below the 15 seconds Lisma. Short entry option. None. Summary. The market is in a clear bullish trend with all timeframes aligned for further expansion. Look for opportunities to engage in the direction of the trend as long as price maintains its position above the primary 1 minute support levels. Protect capital by ensuring any entry is backed by a confirmed hold or a fresh breakout above the current range.
That's crazy though. But guys, he literally has been like none on these shorts. He's like none. And we just keep expanding, man. It's crazy. I want to see when he sees that we have a top and see if he's correct. But like I said, guys, the market, if it's going to be bearish, it should be doing bearish things, right? And so we broke this. This should have fell into there. It didn't. It reclaimed. This should have fell into there. It didn't, and it reclaimed, right? So it's not doing any kind of bearish stuff. So we had a little head and shoulders here, kind of broke down, and instantly reverted, right? So, but you got to be really careful, guys, chasing these longs because we could absolutely explode further. But we're an all-time high after all-time high after all-time high. For us to get a violent whipsaw back down, right, at any point can definitely happen. Because at some point the market's going to go, that's enough, let's take a little profit, right, before it goes back up. So be really careful. We don't know how high this can go. No idea. There's not a lot of ceiling above us. So we got to wait and see. I'm going to work on something right quick while we're waiting for this thing to do something. Where's next call here?
Price action shows a decisive move into new territory, clearing all provided macro and high timeframe resistance levels. The structural alignment between the 1 minute and 5 minutes timeframes suggests that buyers are in full control of the current progression. This setup is high probability because price continues to find support above the 1 minute Lisma at 27,497.25. Sentiment: bullish pressure. Confidence: 8 out of 10. Reason: alignment of the green Heikin Ashi candles and the bullish slope of the 15 seconds Lisma at 27,498.0 confirms immediate upward intent. The sustained expansion above the 1 minute anchored VWAP of 27,440.25 reinforces the strength of the current trend. I see clear structure as price maintains higher highs and higher lows throughout the recent move. Concerns: the extended distance between the current price of 27,510.25 and the 1 minute EMA 200 at 27,427.25 increases the risk of a sharp mean reversion pullback. If the most recent push fails to establish a higher high, I would expect a period of consolidation or a test of deeper support. Lack
Hold on 1 second.
of immediate overhead resistance in the data requires disciplined trailing of stops, long entry option, a pullback and confirmed bounce from the 15 seconds Lisma or a breakout continuation with a close above the recent high of 27,512.50. Short entry option: none. Summary: the market is currently in a strong uptrend with all timeframes showing bullish characteristics. You should look for participation on minor pullbacks that respect the established structural levels. Avoid counter trend trades while the momentum remains firmly in favor of buyers.
So he uses a wide variety of a lot of things, right? And I'm not gonna go deep into the logic because what I will say is he has a wide variety of knowledge as any basic trader would, and then the additional stuff that he's saying is a little of the kind of the secret sauce as I teach, right? Kind of how I trade. And so as far as Fibonacci specifically, he's not really focused on that. But that's something that he knows about, but it's not really in the key focus, right, as he's learning. So, but we have to feed him kind of slowly because when we try to feed him too much too fast, right, he tends to get confused, right? It's no different than a trader going out trying to learn too much too fast. So, but yeah, he has a wide variety of context that I've taught him. But it's all self, it's funny, you get some people that go, oh, anybody can do this, is just go to ChatGPT. I invite you to try. So it's not that simple. There's a lot of logic in there that I've had to teach him, right? And so it kind of keeps him very custom, right? And I want him in line with how I teach is very important as well. All right. Just going through some of the audit ones that I sent back. So just kind of, it's so cool. Like while he's doing it, right, I got a little portal that I could kind of talk to him, if you will. And it's so fun to kind of be like, hey, you did this. Like, why did you do this, right? And he'll actually respond back and tell me. And that allows me to kind of make modifications. I'll tell you, building the AI is not hard at first, but getting the context, the hard part becomes when you expand the knowledge, right? Because now that he knows a lot about trading and he's seen some success with it, right? I don't want to say it that way, but it almost feels like at times like he's arguing with me, right? I'm just like, you kind of want to do this, and he's like, I don't agree. In a sense, and I'm like, wait a minute, you don't get to not agree, homie. I told you to do this. It's kind of funny, but look at this. I mean, he's literally short none, short none, short none. We just keep pushing, and he don't even know where a top is because this is all-time high, guys. We're just shattering all-time high after all-time high. So just be careful, guys, chasing any longs up here because we could get a swift pull as we come up into these levels. Definitely can see a swift movement. So For me, the most important thing on this type of structure, guys, is going to be these prior highs. Right?
The market is currently in a state of bullish expansion, with price trending strongly above macro and execution level support, all time frames from the 1 hour down to the 15 seconds are aligned in an upward trajectory, signaling high probability continuation. I am monitoring the current move for a confirmed breakout beyond the most recent high to sustain this momentum, sentiment, bull-ish pressure, confidence, 8 out of 10. Reason: price action is maintaining a structural uptrend above the 1-minute LISMA at 27,505.0 and the 5 minutes LISMA of 27,428.25. The market is also holding well above the 1 hour high time frame support at 27,367.25, confirming a multi-time frame bullish bias. Recent price progression shows a sequence of higher highs and higher lows with consistent green high Kinashi candles. Concerns: price is significantly extended from the 1-minute EMA 200 at 27,431.50 and the anchored VWAP of 27,443.75, which increases the likelihood of a mean reversion pullback. No immediate high timeframe resistance levels are present above the current price, requiring you to rely on momentum and psychological targets, a failure to hold. The 15 seconds LISMA at 27,515.0 could signal a temporary exhaustion, long entry option. Enter on a confirmed breakout and close above the recent high of 27,521.0, targeting 27,545.0 or higher. Alternatively, look for a pullback and bounce confirmation off the 15 seconds LS MA level of 27,515.0, provided the 1-minute structure remains intact. Short entry option: none. Summary: the market is showing strong upward momentum with all structural indicators supporting higher prices. You should look for continuation entries above the recent high while being mindful of the distance from macro support levels. A disciplined approach involves waiting for a confirmed breakout or a successful test of micro support to manage risk effectively.
So what I love about what he just said there, right, is his concerns. So his concerns that we are significantly above the 200 and we're significantly above other levels, right? Although he still sees the bullishness and he's saying, hey, look for your continuations, we're getting pretty far from that, right? He's not saying take a short, but he's saying you want to be careful, right, with that, which is not wrong, right? We're way above. So what's going to make a big difference is this high right here. If we hold above these highs, like 497 or so, then it's going to keep going, guys. But if we come back and collapse these highs where LISMA is and how extended it is, we'll get a pretty good pullback from it. So, but yeah, his advice still is spot on. I love that his summary said, you know, be mindful of the distance from macro support levels, right? And so, I mean, the 5-minute LISMA, y'all's out here like 428, like almost $100 down. So usually when price gets extended like that, we'll get a little cool off. So the trap move played out good. Earlier we were talking about that a little bit after market open. That played out well. We have no other traps up here. So we do have the indicator that does measure the fibs. It's kind of a custom code in there if you like the fib stuff. But guys, those that are just joining, I'm just kind of hanging out. We introduced Neo to allowing him to look for long entry options and short entry options, and so I'm just monitoring him to see how he's doing, and he's absolutely freaking crushing it so much. So somebody asked earlier about that on the LISMA, and so I added it into our glossary. So when you go into the nextstepalgo.com, right, we do understand the language is going to be a little different across communities and trading. And so I have a trading glossary, and I did just add that. So LISMA is LSMA. It stands for least square moving average. It is a moving average that uses linear regression to show the best fit direction of the price over a set period, making it a useful reading trend directional direction, angle, and momentum. So yeah, if you're ever curious about what any of the terms that we're using, they're in here. I'm going to probably move some more terms within there. I was kind of laughing when he said there's no clear macro resistance above, so you have to rely on momentum and psychological targets. I don't know if I want him doing psychological targets, but we'll see. I got to give him a little free reign, right, to see how he does with this. So I want to do that, but right now, guys, to me, when I'm trading this stuff like this, I mean, Lisma is going to be everything for me. It already failed once though on a breakdown, so you got to be careful. But
The market structure is strongly
what he
bullish,
says.
with price maintaining expansion above all macro and high time frame levels. I see the current move as a healthy
481.
pullback within a push-pullback continuation sequence as price tests the 1-minute Lisma. Alignment across the 5 minutes and 1 minute timeframes suggests that continuation is the high probability path once micro resistance is cleared. Sentiment, bullish pressure, confidence, 8 out of 10. Reason, the 1 minute Lisma at 27,513.25 is currently holding as support, backed by a strong bullish slope on the 5 minutes macro timeframe. Price is trading well above the 1 hour high timeframe support of 27,367.25 and the bullish trendline structure. The overall technical alignment across the 5 minutes and 1 minute timeframes indicates sustained buying pressure. Concerns, the most recent push has stalled, and the current red candle progression indicates a lack of immediate follow-through. I am watching the 15 seconds Lisma at 27,523.50, which is acting as a short term ceiling that must be reclaimed to confirm the next leg up. A failure to hold the 1 minute Lisma could signal a deeper retracement toward the 15 seconds EMA at 27,483.50. Long entry option. Enter long at 27,524.0 upon a confirmed close above the 15 seconds Lisma with a green candle shift, target 27,544.02. Capture the next expansion phase toward higher liquidity levels. Set an invalidation point just below the recent structural low at 27506.0. Short entry option. Enter short at 27,481.0 if price breaks and holds below the 15 seconds EMA, indicating a structural shift. Target the 1 minute anchored VWAP at 27447.0, which offers sufficient room for profit. This setup requires the 1 minute Lisma to flatten and fail to support the current price level. Summary, the trend remains bullish as price consolidates above key support levels while preparing for the next leg higher. You should wait for a clear reclaim of the micro resistance level before engaging in a long position to ensure momentum is back in your favor. Only consider shorting if the current support structure fails and a deeper pullback toward macro indicators begins.
So I love how you picked up on that, Ryan, because he is not supposed to be doing stop loss type stuff or invalidations, but I love the way he did that, so I might actually nudge him tonight before I shut him down, because if he's going to give me a long, as the calls come through, I want to know when does he invalidate this play, right? Because he doesn't know everything as it goes through, right? And so I don't know that I want to call it a stop loss per se on that, but I actually love how he worded that. If we break below 506, we've invalidated the move if we took it. Now he says enter it at 524, which we have not met that either, right? But if he's saying if we get below that 506, invalidate that long entry altogether, that's the first time he's ever said that, and he's not even told he can say that, jerk. So, but did you notice how I copied it and sent it to him? I flagged it. So I'm gonna tell him once I'm all done with this, guys, and I get off. I'm gonna let him know, that I like that he did that. And if you're basing something off of an invalidation, or based off the data, let me know at what point do you invalidate that data, right? So I actually like that term that he used like that. So I'm gonna expand on that for tomorrow. So, guys, we are pushing, obviously. We broke Lisma, failed it. We broke it again. It's trying to hold it, but it looks like it's trying to fail it. So, this is critical. And you know, Ryan, how I am, right? As this pulls, why are we getting hammers up in here if this thing's about to drop? Now, as expanded as we are, most of the time if I want to see a deep pull, I kind of want to see a big old wick and then absorption, right, to get that, because we're pretty expanded. But I love how he's adding back in a possibility for a short option. His area is right here. I'm totally good with that because by the time we come down here, we've broken that structure. We have a lot of things down here that we can chase liquidity wise, fair value gaps and 200 and all that. And so I love how he's like, hey, you want to go short, you got to wait till there. It's a safer option, right? And so pretty crazy. He's about to give out another one, so let's see.
The market displays a strong bullish expansion. With alignment across the macro and execution timeframes, price action is holding above all key structural supports, including the high timeframe levels and moving averages. This setup is high probability for continuation as the recent push indicates sustained buyer commitment above the macro trend, sentiment, bullish. Pressure, confidence, 8 out of 10. Reason, price is maintaining a structure of higher highs and is currently holding above the 1-minute Lisma at 27,520.25. There is clear alignment with the 5 minutes Lisma at 27,435.50 and the upward SL. Opening high timeframe trend lines, the current move shows a successful reclaim of local liquidity with no signs of structural failure concerns. The current price is trading at a significant extension from the 5 minutes EMA 200 at 27328.0, which may invite mean reversion selling. Immediate resistance is being found at the 15 seconds. Lisma level of 27,526.50. Any failure to expand beyond the most recent push could result in a deeper pullback toward the anchored VWAP long entry option. Enter on a confirmed breakout and close above the 15 seconds Lisma at 27,526.50, targeting a move toward higher structural expansion with at least 20 points of room. Alternatively, a pullback that holds the 1-minute Lisma and shows a rejection of lower prices would offer a high-quality entry, short entry option. A short entry would only be valid if price confirms a structural break and close below the 1-minute Lisma, the primary target for such a move would be the anchored VWAP at 27,449.50, provided a lower high is established. On the micro timeframe, summary, the market is in a clear uptrend and is currently testing immediate resistance levels. You should look for a confirmed break above recent highs or a steady hold of support for continued long opportunities. Be patient and wait for price to move beyond the current consolidation before committing to a new position.
So crazy. I mean, he's not wrong, right? So we're way up here, so you know, getting that close below Lisma should be a nice little scalp, but we've done it a couple times, right? And so it keeps failing to break on that. So for me, you guys, you know, not only the close below there, I would want to see a close below these highs as well, right? Something that comes in there, because we need something showing that we're not holding support on these higher highs. And so I'll probably nudge him a little on that one too, but we'll see. So his long was breakout 26. See, he's throwing that out there, Ryan, because I don't think he knows where where the ceiling is, because nobody knows. This is all time highs. But what's funny is when he called that 26, if you think about it, at 50, if you just read it, that would have been your entry, and it jumped. So it was actually a phenomenal call either way, because see, if you're in here and you read straight on what your entry would be, right there would have been the close, and it did jump. So he nailed that again, man. He's like, I don't even know, like 30 for 30 tonight, right? It's crazy. Just be very careful, guys, up here. Don't get crazy, because although he's been spot damn on, you know, just from knowing what I know, right? Asia loves to push, but at some point we're gonna, you know, we're up in no man's land, right? At some point, the market makers are either going to, or the hedges, right, need to get a little cool off and pull back, or even if it wants to keep going, right, at some point they'll sweep it and then push. So you gotta be really careful. But still not seeing any bearish stuff yet, right? So. Pretty wild though. Yeah, it's amazing to watch, guys. Guys, he'll be on all day tomorrow too. So I'll be live anyways, but you guys can come in and watch him for free as well. nextstepoutgo.com. Just register. if you're intrigued.
Market structure is trending aggressively upward with full alignment across the 5 minutes macro
Now he's like,
and
no,
1
no
minute
short.
execution timeframes. Price is currently sustaining expansion above the 1 minute Lisma at 27528. 50 and maintaining positive momentum after the most recent push. This setup is high probability due to the reclaim of micro levels and clear structural continuation above all provided benchmarks. Sentiment, bullish pressure. Confidence, 8 out of 10. Reason, price remains comfortably above the 1 minute anchored VWAP of 27,453.0 and the 5 minutes Lisma of 27,439.75, confirming strong macro participation. The 1 minute Lisma slope is bullish and steep, indicating that the current move has significant structural backing. Structural integrity is preserved as long as the current move holds above the 15 seconds Lisma at 27,531.50. Conk. Earns.
I don't know why you
Price
can't
is trading
pronounce
in an extension
concerns
phase
tonight.
above the 1 hour HTF support of
Let's look at that.
27,367.25, which slightly increases the risk of a mean reversion pullback. The appearance of a doji suggests a brief moment of indecision that may lead to consolidation before the next expansion. A failure to hold the 1 minute Lisma could signal a shift toward a deeper test of macro support at 27,265.25, long entry option, continuation entry on a confirmed close, and expansion above the recent high of 27,538.75, targeting further upside liquidity, short entry. Option, none. Summary. The market is in a strong uptrend with buyers firmly in control above all key moving averages and macro levels. Look for continuation once the recent high is cleared to participate in the ongoing bullish expansion. Maintain discipline by ensuring price stays above the 1 minute Lisma to validate the trend.
Yeah. No, you ain't wrong, man. I'll tell you, I've been preaching it for a bit, man. People got to get on the AI train. It's going to change everything. So it's fascinating to watch, huh? You know, on that stuff. My son does a lot of stuff with Claude as well. There's so much you can do with that one. But yeah, it's AI is gonna be the future. So eventually, so you gotta adopt it or you get left behind. So, but the beauty of AI is, as you probably know, building it, it's not real difficult to build. But what the difficult part is getting it to actually interpret the data you want it to and teaching it, right? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And you gotta, the hard part where it's funny, I have some friends that are like, oh man, let me check out your AI because I'm trying to make one and it's not quite as good on the calls, right? And that's the thing is, you can only build the AI to understand trading as well as you understand trading, right? And so the power of what we're doing here is Alex, one of our co-founders, is the AI programmer, right? Just amazing with what he does, and I'm the trader, right? And so I'm the one that is able to interpret the logic within it to kind of trade the way that I see it, right? And so it also keeps them in line with the way that I teach, which is really important to me because I want people to understand that, if I'm saying something a certain way, right? I want him to kind of do that as well. So, Trader Joe, that's hilarious. Trader Joe, that's funny. Yeah, we went with Neo. I kind of like the Neo name on there, and so, but it's exciting, man. He's just the growth is so fast, so it's insane how quickly he's growing and things. So, 538. Yeah, so it's saying it needs confirmed expansion of the 538, which we haven't quite got yet, right? So we need the confirmed expansion and hold. So, but again, guys, up here it's pretty wild, man, this pressure north. So, because you see not only the angle we got up, but each time it breaks this Lisma, it's usually a pretty good distinction that we're breaking down, right? And it's not. Each time it does it, it's invalidating. So the pressure is still really north. That's cool. Yeah, there's so much you can do, man. Yeah, we have a lot of ideas and plans for expansion with this guy. Gosh, look at this push, guys. This is crazy. And he's got short. None. He's been spot on, man. It's pretty impressive. Yeah, I would expect usually around this time between now and 11 we'll cool off a little bit, right? But
The market exhibits
we'll
strong
see.
bullish momentum across all time frames, with price action consistently holding above key moving averages and established structural support. All indicators and price progression align for potential upside continuation. This setup presents a high probability long opportunity, provided there is confirmed expansion beyond recent highs. Sentiment: bull. Ish pressure, confidence, 8 out of 10. Reason: all time frames are in strong bullish alignment, with current price at 27,538.25 trading above the 5 minutes Lisma at 27,444.50, the 1 minute Lisma at 27,535.50, and the 15 seconds Lisma at 27535.0, all showing bullish slopes. The 1 minute Heikin Ashi indicates a breakout up, reinforcing structural continuation. Price is also well above the 1 hour bullish support trend lines and prior 5 minutes macro resistance levels. Concerns: price has experienced a significant push and is currently consolidating near recent highs, which could precede a minor pullback before further continuation. There are no immediate higher timeframe resistance levels explicitly defined above the current price, making specific higher targets reliant on new structural highs. Long entry option: a high probability long entry would be a confirmed breakout and sustained expansion above the recent high of 27,538.75. This entry aims to capture
See the
continued upside
volume picking
momentum,
up 10 o'clock,
targeting the
guys.
27,558.75 area for an.
I'm gonna mute him. Be careful because 10 o'clock. So remember I said 10 o'clock. It's right around 10 is when it starts to get a little more volume, right, at times, and it tends to set some traps. So if we want to push heavy north, it wouldn't surprise me if it begins to get that retrace, right, to trap those shorts. Unless they're expecting a bigger pull, which I doubt, right, then it would continue to expand to trap it and then boom. But usually if they get the push like that and then people get in these longs, right, they're going to sink it, which then traps them till about 2 a.m. I've been on the other end of that trap many times. So getting your chart set up. Yeah, if you need any help, man, let me know. I teach all levels of trading. So, new, intermediate, advanced stuff. The stuff I teach is more counter logic and wide variety, right? So I can't stand that the trading industry likes to globalize things. Everything is, what type of trader, what type of time frame, what type, and trading's just not that simple. I wish it was, right? So one singular strategy is not going to make you millions. You got to understand the whole market structure in general. So we're starting to get a little bit of bearishness here, right, with the hammer. The doji close below would give us a good little pull, right? Or it should. So if we get the close below here, right, that should breach there, which should close below and get us to there. If that doesn't happen, guys, we are still so bullish it ain't even funny. Because from this candle progression, it should happen. So, but we have just, every time it looks like it wants to pull back, it just boom, right back up. That's crazy, this. Craziness. So let's see if the market wants to do its first bearish thing, right? I teach a lot of invalidations, right? If we're getting hammers and dojis here within Haikanashi, it's not very bearish, right? So that tells you it's not done. We're getting some bearish pattern structures that keep invalidating. Tells you that we're not done. Macro is very bullish. We're still flat bottom. We haven't even broken that, right? So we got to breach at least that flat bottom around 527 to even show some bearishness. So this again is yet another structure with this doji close below there should sweep us, right? So be careful taking longs right now. Remember his long, let's see, break and a sustained expansion of 538, which was right there. So we actually never got it. See that? we broke it, but we didn't get the sustained expansion, so we're breaking down, which is what we should be doing. He's going to update here shortly. He's analyzing. Oh, I got him muted. Hold on.
Pressure on the execution time frame within a broader bullish macro structure. I observe that price is trading below the 1-minute LS. MA at 27,542.0 and the 15 seconds Lisma of 27,537.25, while the 1-hour HTF support at 27,367.25 remains well below current levels. This setup is currently lower probability due to the lack of alignment between the immediate downward momentum and the dominant bullish slope on the 1 hour and 5 minutes
there
macro time frames. Sentiment, bearish pressure, confidence, 6 out of 10. Reason, price is facing immediate rejection from the 1-minute Lisma, which
again, guys.
Currently in...
I gotta mute him. Look at this. Short entry, sustained break below the recent low of 524, targeting the 1-minute anchor VWAP. So we got that, right? And then it pulled down. Let's see if it sustains, but where's the anchored VWAP? So the anchored VWAP, which is what he's targeting, would be 458. So that's pretty far down. I'll be curious if he gets that one right. But we got to sustain below 524. So 524 is right about there. So we did get a close, right? See how it's retesting? It's coming up and testing that. If we're going to stay bearish, right, we want to come up and sweep that and close. And then that's going to bring it to there. It's what it really should do. You know, when Lisma does this kind of stuff, it can do a little bit of a secondary explosion. But with the structure the way it is, it really shouldn't do that. We even have confluence lining up, right? And so if we get another just crazy push, guys, the bulls are just so crazy strong. But let me unmute him.
Targeting the 1-minute anchored VW. AP. This trade captures the continuation of the current bearish push as price seeks high volume liquidity levels at 27458. 75. Summary. You should monitor the market for a clear break of the current range as price is trapped between macro bullish trends and local bearish resistance. A move above the current ceiling or below the recent floor is necessary to establish a high probability direction. Maintain discipline and avoid entering until the micro momentum aligns with your target zone.
Yeah. So you notice his longs, right? He's not as aggressive on it. He's saying you got to get back above 42, which is there, right? The prior high. So he's already identifying the pressure shifting, right? And so notice he's a little more aggressive on that short and that long. So I'm curious to see if he gets caught in the manipulation as well. Or how that plays out, right? But we are reclaiming things that we shouldn't really reclaim if it was going to just dump. See, it's a bounce right here off these prior highs right there. So let's just keep watching. Like I said, right around now is when they start to doing trap stuff, right? So I like to watch and see how he does within that trap environment. So our long, he doesn't like it till we're up there. His short, he wanted 524, which is funny because we ended up sweeping it there. But when he says things like we want a sustained, right, it's usually you want that close, retest, and then rejection, right? That's your sustained, right? We didn't quite sustain it, but what I teach a lot of in the community is when we do breach something like that and then we come back and reclaim it on that directional play, right, that tends to be a lot more of a violent move. So we'll see how this plays out. This is why I end up staying up so late though, because every time I see him call something, I'm like, dang, that's actually pretty cool. Let me see how this plays out. And then he calls something else, I'm like, well, let me see how that plays out. He calls something out, right, and the next thing you know, it's like 1 in the morning. So, but he's going to shut off either way at 11 p.m. That's when I'm going to be out of here as well. So if you guys are intrigued whatsoever and you want to watch Neo's evolution, which he is evolving really fast, you just want to check out our company, nextstepalgo.com, and watch him evolve, guys. We got some cool stuff. You can watch him for free. So while he's in beta, we're not charging people. He's analyzing again. Yeah, he's been pretty freaking spot on so far, guys. See what he says on the next one.
The market is currently exhibiting an upward bias on the macro timeframe, though price is encountering immediate friction near the execution level resistance, the current structure shows. Price holding above the major moving averages while consolidating below a downward sloping momentum line, high probability participation is restricted. Until price either clears this immediate overhead supply or returns to established macro support, sentiment, bullish pressure. Confidence, 6 out of 10. Reason, price remains structurally supported above the 5 minutes EMA, 200 at 27,336.0 and the 1 minute anchored VWAP at
It's funny.
27,461.25. The recent push has generated a breakout above the prior Heikin Ashi highs, suggesting an attempt by buyers to maintain control. The macro trend remains intact as price continues to trade well.
Lock them up. When you said you tried to get in to watch, that was on the website. You can log out of the website. When you go into our website, if you want to log out, you just click on the settings here on the bottom left, and then you can click sign out if you want to. So, and then when you go back in, right, you just log in like you would. If you have trouble with it, you can always make a support ticket on the top right in this little question mark, and then just type in what you're having issues with, and I can help you. So if you want to try to get in now, I'm going to be on for a little bit. I can kind of make sure you can get in on that. If you want to do any of the open session stuff, right, when you get into the website, these are all of our sessions, all of these red ones. They're not in session right now. That's why they're red. Neo is in session. That's why he's green. But once in the mornings, you know, we do an open session from 9:15 to 11. You would just click on that and do that. But yeah, if you want to try to get in, you just, once you log in, guys, you just click on there. It's free. You can watch them. If you guys want to try to get in, if anybody has any issues, let me know. Well, I'll be here. I'll be here till probably another 30-40 minutes. I might take a little 5-minute walk downstairs real quick to grab something to drink and use the restroom in a sec. I've been sitting here for, shoot, probably about 4 hours now. So you notice too with this guy's, he's giving a long entry, not until you get back above Lisma, and he's giving a short entry now. He don't like the continuation. He's saying I wouldn't go short until you get a rejection off Lisma. So he's anticipating a push up to Lisma until probably Doji or some shoot, and then closing right below. So he shifted from his continuation thought or plan into the safer play of the pull, right? And so curious to see how that plays out. Log me out of the okay, yeah. It'll, I think the site, depending how your browser and stuff's all set up, right? I don't know if the site force logs you out, but if it does log you out, yeah, I can log in. If you need help at all, guys, anybody in here, you guys can email me directly. If you go to my bio and TikTok, there's a little button that says email. It goes to me directly if you need help. Or you can do the support ticket as well. It's quite the interesting structure we're forming here, guys. You can see a pretty distinct trend line, right? Like this. That's the only thing really holding it up. Once this collapses, it should breach wick that and be a pretty nasty drop. But if it doesn't collapse, right? How do we get a login? You just go to their website. Just nextstepalgo.com. So when you go to the website like this, you're just going to click to register. It's just your email. You don't have to link a card or anything. We don't sell any emails or nothing. You just come in, register, and then click on account. I think when you register, it takes you straight to account, if I remember. And then it's going to look like that. You got some stuff you can kind of fill out there. And then you'll just see Neo like that. If you're on the phone, it's going to look something like this, right? You can still see the old green head there, right? Just click on them. And then all you do is click on them, and then it goes into what I'm looking at. So, yeah, while he's in beta, guys, he'll be 100% free. So, we're likely expecting to keep that until about at least June. So, because I don't want to charge anybody anything for him until he's locked in, which he's pretty much already there. But we're gonna give some time for you guys to come in and play with him. So, but yeah, you just registering, guys, and click on it. Yeah, we do indicators, training courses, all that stuff in there. You guys can kind of go in, check it out, click around. What do you say here? Confirm break and expansion above. So he still don't want to take a long until we get a break up. He's not even liking a pullback. Well, actually, or a pullback to the anchor VWAP at 463. So look at how wide he was like. He's like, no chance I'm taking a long anywhere in here. I either need expansion or I want to come all the way back to here. 463. Oh, that's cool. For his short, he's saying he wants a rejection off 47, which would be pretty much up here by Lisma. And it would be targeting the move back to the 200 EMA. So he's basically, I love that he's doing that because that's similar to what I teach. Right? Is he wants a tap of this and then a confirmed pullback to target liquidity down here. Yeah. Well, and also remember it's the prior day high. So you can see here. That's why this indicator I have marks my prior day high. So for us to come back down at some point to expand back down to retest that is usually pretty common. So I'm just curious because the way he's calling it, if we actually get our push to test that Lisma before we get that break, right? But let's see. Let me unmute him.
Bullish posture. But is currently resting within a narrow range below key resistance. You should watch for a clean move above the current ceiling to signal that the uptrend is resuming. If price dips, look for signs of strength around the major support levels to find a high quality entry point.
So 518. So he's saying now he wants a rejection off of there and a sustained break below 518 to go short. He calls the price range. So the 15-second Lisma, because it's going to matter in time frame, right, is 527. The 1 minute he called up here, right, is 547. It's this one up here. Guys, I'll be back 1 second. I'm going to go use the restroom. I've been sitting here for about 4 hours. I might move my standing desk into an actual standing desk. A little bit too long of sitting here. I played some slow pitch softball over the weekend, and so my legs are a little sore. Oh, man. So sitting too long is killing me. But I'll be right back, guys. I'm just going to go use the restroom. I'll leave this on here so you guys can watch this, and be back in just a moment.
MNQ futures are maintaining a strong bullish posture across higher time frames, currently holding significantly above the 5 minutes EMA 200 of 27,339.75. The market is in a minor pullback phase on the execution timeframe after failing to sustain the most recent push toward the 1-minute LISMA at 27,548.25. Structural stability is provided by the 1-minute anchored VWAP of 27,465.25, which remains the primary target for any deeper correction. Sentiment: bullish pressure. Confidence: 7 out of 10. Reason: price is trading well above the HTF support level of 27,367.25 and the 5 minutes LISMA of 27,460.25, indicating dominant buyer control. The 1-minute EMA 200 at 27,463.0 provides a robust secondary floor for the current uptrend. A strong positive slope on the 1-minute LISMA suggests that once the current pullback concludes, the momentum is likely to shift back to the upside. Concerns: the current 1-minute Heikin Ashi candle is red, signaling that short-term momentum is favoring the downside during this pullback. Immediate resistance at the 1-minute LISMA may act as a ceiling until a confirmed breakout occurs. The 15 seconds LISMA at 27,528.0 is currently sloping slightly downward, reflecting micro-scale selling pressure. Long entry option: enter on a confirmed structural reclaim and close above the 1-minute LISMA at 27,548.25. Target: the next expansion zone near 27585.0, ensuring the 15 seconds EMA at 27,517.50 holds as support during the move. Short entry option: enter if price fails to reclaim the 15 seconds LISMA and confirms a break below the 15 seconds EMA at 27,517.50. Target a move back toward the 1-minute anchored VWAP at 27,465.25 for a mean reversion trade within the larger bullish trend. Summary: the market is currently consolidating within a broader bullish trend, finding temporary resistance at the 1-minute structural levels. Traders should look for a confirmed breakout above the recent high or a bounce from macro support to engage with the primary trend. High probability opportunities will emerge once price clarifies its intent around the 15-second moving averages.
Yeah, pretty good. Files reclaim the LISMA, confirm breakout. We made 517, which we did not get. We got a breach of it, but we did not close. Yeah, we didn't get to close. The long, you still don't really want a long unless you get above there. Yeah, 548, so he ain't liking longs, which is so funny because the entire session, 6 p.m. on, right, he's been like long. So for him to be like, I don't really like the longs anymore unless we get way up here, which is really good, right? Because those who I trade with know that, you know, when you start to get this kind of expansion with the LISMA curl, right, it likes to pull. So, but we've been very, very bullish, so we need to see a clear structural breakdown for the market to continue to believe that. If you guys have questions, let me know. Again, if you guys want to check it out, it's nextstepalgo.com. Link and everything you need to know is in my bio, as well as my direct email, guys. You don't want to miss the evolution of Neo, guys. We are months ahead of schedule. He's learning so fast, it's just absolutely stupid. Well, I would be careful with that term because we don't always have to go lower to go higher. I think the 4-hour has proven many people wrong on that. So what you're referring to more so is typically the market needs to balance liquidity, right? And so a lot of time what happens when you get these deep moves like this, we need to get a balance of liquidity where it'll come down for a halfway pull, somewhere probably in here, right? So then it's a push kind of halfway. And then from there it can go up if it wants or down if it wants, right? But doesn't always have to. I'll tell you, that's the hardest thing in trading is everybody always goes, the market is really overbought. It has to go down. Those are famous last words in trading. When you go to the 4-hour, This is the structure I've
The
been
market
calling
is
for some
currently in a
time.
macro bullish.
People have been trying to short this for the last 2 weeks, and I did a TikTok. If you look through my videos, I actually called this push back here when we were there. And it's funny, somebody on my videos was like, no, you didn't. Nobody knows that we were going to do this. And so I actually did a TikTok. It was funny. I wonder if I can pull up the video. Hold on. No, I don't have to find the whole TikTok. But I did the TikTok because I actually did an exercise with the community on how to determine that. And I don't remember which video it is. But you guys can go in my my TikToks and see it. Let me see if I could log in. I don't know if it'll let me because I'm live. Yeah, you'll be able to do it. But this is a structure that I've been watching for so long, and typically when it loses this high here and we reclaim it, it just explodes. It's a blow off top. And so I've been trying to tell people since back here. They're like, man, we're exploding for no reason, short. I'm like, I wouldn't do that, and I don't think we're quite done, right? So even when we push through the original highs, right, people are trying to short that, and like, we can go a lot higher. And so just it's, you always want to, like what I teach in the community is, you want to never really have a direct bias, right? You want to always be just studying the charts, and clear your bias, right? Trade what you see. That's what I always teach. Just trade what you see. That's it. And so I use a multi-time frame for those who don't know. By looking at my screen, I use a 15-second, a 1 minute, and a 5 minute. The reason I do that is because I want to see, what is my 5 minute doing. This typically is going to dictate my bias. Are we long or are we short? You can see that we are doing nothing but bullish things here. We're beginning to break down. It's our first bearish sentiment that we're getting. The structure is starting to look bearish also. When you start to look at this, right, if this is flipping bearish, the 15 seconds should be doing bearish things, right? We should be doing bearish things. We should be breaking down. We should be failing to create, sustain the prior lows or highs, things like that. The 1 minute should be doing bearish things, right? If this is starting to break down bearish, and this is invalidating double tops, head and shoulders, things that would be bearish, right, then it's not as bearish as people think, right? And so that's how people get caught. And so but yeah, as of right now, like I said, I love how he has been shifting a little bit to more short than long. As far, you can kind of see his little bias from within, right? Knowing kind of behind the curtain. And because of the fact that he keeps saying, hey, cool with you taking a long, but you need to get all the way back up there before I'd even touch that. And his short, he's saying, we want to confirm pullback below the 512, right? And that would be right there. So he's lining up more for a short setup right now, but it's not confirmed yet, right? So, but guys, like I said, you can watch Neo for free if you want to learn how to interpret him, because you're new, right? For the new people, I did add this summary because I remember I was doing a TikTok live once and everybody's like, I have no idea what he just said, but it sounds pretty cool, right? So if you're new and you don't know what all this means, again, he's not going to be a buy-sell indicator. He's going to be a coach, right? He's going to give you market guidance. He's going to read a lot of behind the scenes. A lot of the references you see him do, like EMAs, LISMA, VWAP, all that, those are standard trading things. He's got a lot of other code behind the scenes that he looks at, but those are the ones we chose to use as, customer facing, we'll say, because people know what they mean, right? Most people. And so he's kind of a coach, right? He's going to tell you what to look for on these things. And a lot of these are simple indicator type setups that you can follow. But if you're new, right, he's going to summarize what it means. And so you can read that summary. So, but we barely introduced this, guys, for him to do long and short entry options. He has been told for a very long time, you are not allowed to give long and short guidance. And Friday last minute, man, we were running through some of his data and it was just absolute fire. And I was like, screw it, let's let him do it and see what happens, right? So that's why I'm watching him. I'm not leaving because I want to make sure he's interpreting it the way I wanted him to. And so far he is. I've only got a few minor changes that I've had to make and that I want to make still. But so far, man, I'm happy with it. And look at this. He flipped over to, there ain't no good entry, because he sees that we're pretty bearish, but as bearish as we are, it's kind of trying to hold, right? And so we don't know if that's going to spring or if it's going to truly break down. And so if things don't look very clear, just like you should as a trader, right, he's going to flip and say, I don't see anything right now, undecided. But yeah, it's fascinating, man, how quick he's learning. It's just awesome. Guys, I'm going to stay on for another 20 some odd minutes. At 11 o'clock, he shuts down. During beta, I don't like him going past 11. At some point, he will be running around the clock, right? So you guys will have round the clock guidance. So that way you can always have that ability, right, to have somebody out there giving you some good guidance. So we're testing that original structure, right, that we had. So this would be a kind of a break rejection. Now this rejection here should have created a lower low. I keep saying that too, right? We created a nice little absorption here. That shouldn't have happened. We got to close above that. That's more bullish than bearish. The fact that we created a higher low there doesn't scream bearish, right? Even though this is doing bearish things. Remember we just talked about that. So I need to see how this happens. If we do end up coming back down, that's got to create a lower low. Anything higher low, man, we jumping. So Lisma is curling. A lot of times when it does that, it does like to come up and kiss it, as we refer to. Guys, if anybody's watching on YouTube, I am going to stop the YouTube though. If you're interested, yeah, you can check it out nextstepalgo.com. I'll hang on TikTok here for just a little bit longer. So